The modern web has a signal loss problem. We are drowning in a high-speed cascade of endless data, where the sheer volume of information actively destroys our ability to find what we are looking for. This environment is built on algorithmic sludge. These are the programmatic, SEO-stuffed listicles designed specifically to capture search engine queries rather than accurately answer them. Modern search algorithms reward this exact behavior. They rank pages based on time on page and continuous scrolling metrics, systematically prioritizing data volume over actual utility to the user. You experience this every time you search for a simple dinner recipe. To get to the ingredients, you have to scroll past a 2,000-word keyword-optimized preamble about the author's childhood. In high-stakes markets like travel, the dysfunction compounds. Attempting to find a place to stay results in a map interface clustered with thousands of overlapping pins, rendering the underlying geography completely unreadable. When every query returns an infinite feed of equally weighted, unverified options, the system induces user paralysis. Data abundance has inverted. We are operating in a negative value environment, where the overwhelming volume of choices directly prevents you from making a confident decision. The Daily Picks network was built as a structural countermeasure to this exact problem. Its governing axiom is artificial constraint. Instead of algorithmic generation, the network relies on strict human curation, delivering a single daily pick rather than an infinite feed. This diagram outlines the economic model that supports this constraint. The network operates with 0 paywalls, 0 email walls, and a strict ban on pay-to-play vendor rankings across its 7 distinct nodes. Without programmatic ad loading to drive revenue through forced scrolling, the site itself is the product. It survives entirely on the integrity of its database. To see how this executes in practice, we look to its sister project, Sleep by the Beach. This directory acts as the ultimate stress test within the highly saturated, highly lucrative travel vertical. By examining the mechanics of this specific directory, we can observe exactly how manual taxonomy scales to defeat algorithmic noise. Resolving the crisis in digital search requires a complete reversal. Programmatic quantity must be replaced with strict, editorially defined parameters. Standard online travel aggregators operate on a model of maximum extraction. They scale their platforms by indiscriminately scraping vendor APIs, aiming to hold the highest possible volume of active listings regardless of individual quality. This counter illustrates the opposite architecture. Rather than aggregating every available bed, Sleep by the Beach aggressively compresses that feed into a static constraint. The entire dataset is permanently capped at 430 hand-picked properties, distributed across exactly 7 peak season coastlines. This severe limitation introduces a structural challenge: how a highly constrained directory actually monetizes its traffic. The solution is the fulfillment paradox. The directory never processes a transaction. Instead, it relies on affiliate links, utilizing the massive, pre-existing infrastructure of standard aggregators to handle the booking and payment mechanics. This architecture successfully hijacks the aggregator's robust fulfillment engine, while entirely protecting the end user from that same aggregator's broken, noise-heavy discovery algorithm. To build that protection, the data must be tethered to geographic reality. The primary vulnerability in massive aggregator databases is how quickly data utility degrades under the weight of marketing language. This is semantic drift. Consider a real estate listing that claims a water view. This map scatterplot demonstrates the problem. A programmatic feed evaluates text, so it will highlight 50 properties as a mathematically valid water view, even if that view is just a distant glimpse of the ocean from a 3rd-story roof 3 blocks inland. The curated directory counters this drift by establishing strict, physically verifiable parameters that an algorithm cannot fudge. For true waterfront status, the physical distance from the property line to the water cannot exceed 50 feet. Anything further is deleted. This is paired with an acoustic parameter. The water must be close enough to hear from the property's bedroom. Scraping algorithms cannot effectively parse physical context. Code cannot verify acoustic truths. Enforcing this rule requires a manual verification process. A human editor must cross-reference satellite topography with a deep analysis of historical user reviews to confirm the exact location. building a highly trusted database is not achieved by writing more complex search code. It requires ruthlessly binding digital labels back to strict physical truths. In the standard affiliate marketing model, product flaws and negative user experiences are treated as friction. The system actively incentivizes publishers to mask or completely ignore this negative data to drive immediate, frictionless conversions. The architecture of honest trade-offs is a deliberate structural rejection of that masking. Every property in the directory carries a strict editorial requirement. Specific, unchangeable flaws must be explicitly documented directly on the listing page. If the pool is uncomfortably small, the text states that. If the walk to the beach is a half-mile hike over hot asphalt, it is written out plainly, replacing the enthusiastic marketing copy. This approach utilizes a counterintuitive business logic. Voluntarily surfacing negative data acts as a powerful competitive advantage. This forced transparency artificially lowers short-term, low-intent clicks. But in exchange, it drastically increases long-term user trust. When a user finally does click out to the transaction layer, that established trust translates directly into higher quality, higher converting traffic. Explicitly presenting the negative realities of a product is the absolute only way an information directory can mathematically prove it is immune to pay-to-play manipulation. These rules scale far beyond finding a beach house. They form the underlying matrix of the entire Daily Picks network. The architectural mechanics proven on the coastline apply equally across completely unrelated, high-noise verticals. You see this exact framework in how AI models are evaluated. Rather than scraping raw parameter counts, models are ranked head-to-head based on verified, task-specific utility. It translates directly to local service directories, bypassing paid placement invoices by calculating true historical tenure and synthesizing real review data. Across all these distinct datasets, human curation operates as the universal, ungameable filter. Building a resilient, post-algorithmic media model relies entirely on repeating this exact manual filtration process across every industry currently suffering from semantic drift. We are left with a clear contrast between the algorithmic internet and the curated internet. The difference between a successful recommendation and a bad user experience often comes down to 50 physical feet and 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep. This precision stands in direct opposition to the wider technology sector's obsession with infinite inclusion and endless, unvetted database expansion. When the programmatic noise is finally stripped away, you are left with clarity. In an era defined by overwhelming data volume, the true value of a directory is defined entirely by the information it chooses.